not supposed to wear that.
I don't give a fuck.
You're not supposed to wear that.
I don't give a fuck.
You're not supposed to wear that.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't include myself in any sort of drama. I'm just here, outside perspective, giving my own opinion. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. Everybody fucking knows that by now. So why is everybody angry? Why is everybody angry at Ashley from Angry? So I stumbled across a couple of posts and stuff going at Ashley Tonga. And so I'm like, what's happening? I go to her Facebook page, I catch myself up, I look at her stories, But she's right. You're not supposed to wear KIEKIE to a putu. I've been to a couple of putus where you can tell that they're not Tongan or kakai muli because they're wearing a lokeha. A white snow lokeha to a putu. Now, they are not in the wrong because they obviously don't know. But it's the people that's around them that they should have been like, hey, cuz, you only wear that to, like, whakame, cuz. And I am all for representation. I love the fact that TENELLE wore a KIEKIE to Fiji's putu. How fucking awesome is that? But at the same time, if something is done wrong, is it wrong to actually say something about it? Is it bad you guys are jumping on the bandwagon just because? But yeah, what do you guys think? Don't ask me for what I think because I'm gonna tell you. WWJD.
Yo, I don't get it. Why is this someone person named Ashley worrying about TENELLE wearing a KIEKIE to the funeral? She's not Tongan. This Ashley person should have just said beautiful piece because that's what it was. It was a beautiful piece that TENELLE was wearing. And I must say, thank you very much for putting Tonga out there. TENELLE, don't worry about people saying you shouldn't wear that to the funeral, blah, blah, blah. You wear whatever you want. I give you the pass, okay? So if you want to wear a vala to'onga, which is the vala that you wear when you get married, you want to wear to do a funeral, let me know. I'll give it to you. You wear whatever you want, all right? Anyone else who says otherwise, hit the gym, lose some weight, and go to work and put some food on the table.
You know who always jumps at the chance to do a Samoan Siva? Tongans, okay? You Tongans, every time you get an opportunity to do a Samoan Siva, all of you will get up and do it. We see it at all of our family gatherings, our hula hulas, and you know who don't say anything? Samoans. They don't care. But TENELLE wears a KIEKIE to a funeral, and now everybody has lost their damn marbles. And y'all need to tone it down.
It would be Island King because he wrote Island King. And that would be the song that I forever sing for him. So, KIEKIE, you know I got you. I love you, Peach.
Have you ever heard that untold story about my Island King who fell in love with foreign? Well, he was never ever satisfied. He was raised on an island right. But I'm never gonna water down his glory. It's necessary that my warrior adores me. Please don't take it personal. Problems of the brown skin girl, yeah. Well, I'm not knocking on my phone with queens, I love you. If it's you he loves and ain't no one above you. We're a dying breed and I'm just trying to preserve my culture and bloodline. So don't take my words and twist them or distort me, or push your propaganda for them to ignore me. Please don't take it personal. Problems of the brown skin girl. You never have to worry about how I feel about you. Yeah, you know I got you. Peace to my hustle, my best friend, my Fiji, I love you.
You know, it looks like recently there was some controversy about TENELLE wearing a traditional Tongan piece, to Fiji's funeral. Rest in peace to the great legend Fiji. I think that, in today's time, it's always worth the conversation because you never know what people don't know. And, within this certain subject of TENELLE wearing that Tongan piece, the KIEKIE, there was a girl who went online and pretty much said that, it was the wrong place to be wearing that Tongan, traditional Tongan piece, the KIEKIE. And so pretty much you're not supposed to wear it at a funeral. It's more of an event of a celebration where you would be wearing that. And a funeral wouldn't be an appropriate setting for that Tongan piece. Now, that went viral with the communities within the Tongan and the Samoan community having a debate about whether this was right or not, whether it was, something that TENELLE maybe, knew. Was it something that she was knowledgeable about, or was this, just something that she was just paying respect to Fiji? First clip with the two sisters
You're not supposed to wear that.
displaying the KIEKIE in certain situations of cleaning, jogging,
You're not
watering the
supposed to wear that.
grass. Yo, I like that we can laugh at this. At the end of the day, we can laugh at this, and as long as we can laugh at ourselves, in certain situations to make light of it, I think it's cool that we can have those moments where we can let our guard down, and laughter is good for the soul. And I don't think TENELLE really meant any harm by it, and I think those two sisters right there are displaying, their, opinion about it, that it's not too deep in that sense. I think people are kind of putting too much on it, but it's definitely respect to the culture and respect to the traditional meanings behind the pieces that are worn.
Now, they are not in the wrong because they obviously don't know. But it's the people that's around them that they should have been like, hey, cuz, you only wear that to, like, fuck our mate, cuz. And I am all for representation. I love the fact that TENELLE wore a KIEKIE to Fiji's butu. How fucking awesome.
I think I have to agree with her on that, because I feel like, there should be, certain situations, like if your circle or extended family members know better, then they should kind of, advise you and tell you if a certain thing is right or not. You know what I'm saying? I think that's pretty cool that she does say that she's kind of happy. She's, she actually is cool with TENELLE, wearing it. She's just kind of speaking on the fact of like Tongan culture and like right is right, wrong is wrong. And she's not necessarily trying to critique or, criticize TENELLE herself. She's just saying that in regards to what is being said, is she wrong for saying that that's not the appropriate place to wear a Tongan piece? No, she's not. That's what she's saying in regards to that. She's just pretty much basically saying, to uphold culture and like right is right and wrong is wrong. And I think, taking it back to the Samoan culture, if we seen something that was out of place or not correct, I think a lot of us would take the time out to speak on it. We're all proud of our cultures. We have a lot of pride in what and where our families come from and where we all come from.
I don't get it. Why is this Samoan person named Ashley worrying about TENELLE wearing a KIEKIE to the funeral? She's not Tongan. This Ashley person should have just said beautiful piece, because that's what it was. It was a beautiful piece that TENELLE was wearing. And I must say, thank you very much for putting Tonga out there. TENELLE, don't worry about people saying you shouldn't wear that to the funeral, blah, blah, blah. You wear whatever you want. I give you the pass, okay? So if you want to wear a vala to'onga, which is the vala that you wear when you get married, you want to wear to do a funeral, let me know. I'll give it to you. You wear whatever you want, all right? Anyone else who says otherwise, hit the gym, lose some weight.
I think he makes a good point right there. Thoko right there is pretty much just saying to TENELLE, like, forget what everyone else is saying, do you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I think he can understand that, TENELLE doesn't mean no harm. She's not coming in with any ill intentions, and that she is coming from a good place, and that I think people are reading a little too deep into the controversial subject of what old girl is pretty much just putting out there, like, hey, that this is the inappropriate event or setting for us to be wearing a traditional piece. But at the same time, I feel like Thoko's, got a point. Like, man, do you, especially at a time of, a funeral and you're grieving. At that moment where people are grieving, they've lost somebody, all you want to do is comfort them. You know what I mean? The best as you can. Sometimes you don't know how to. Sometimes you don't know what to say or do. but to allow them that space to be and do as they feel so that they can navigate themselves out of that grief. It might take some time, but I think at the end of the day, criticizing, people as they're grieving might not be the best option, off back.
You know who always jumps at the chance to do a Samoan Siva? Tongans, okay? You Tongans, every time you get an opportunity to do a Samoan Siva, all of you will get up and do it. We see it at all of our family gatherings, our hula hulas, and you know who don't say anything? Samoans. They don't care. But TENELLE wears a KIEKIE to a funeral, and now everybody has lost their damn marbles.
Yo, shout out to Toko right there. He's highlighting the fact that, as we do share cultures, like the previous creator was saying that, do you, and that things are probably not as deep as these other content creators are trying to put it out there to be. Are they even content creators or just pot stirrers, stirring up the pot? I think a lot of us Samoans love seeing our culture being displayed and represented, with respect to our traditions. But we love seeing it. Any other culture, especially Tongans, those are basically our family. You know what I mean? I don't think that we're ever looking at them as, taken from our culture or disrespecting it. I think, if anything, it's an open conversation where we can learn from each other. And that's the part where I love to be able to learn from each other, because that's what we need to do at the end of the day, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what other people don't know, and you don't know what people are going through. So, let's give each other some time and some grace to kind of get by, get through it.
It would be Island King because he wrote Island King. That would be the song that I forever sing for him. So, I got you.
Yo, fun fact right there. I'm not sure if many of y'all know that. So TENELLE just kind of dropping that right there. Some of y'all who are, huge TENELLE fans probably do know that. I just found that out. So Fiji wrote Island King for TENELLE. That's pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? So you could definitely tell, that TENELLE has a deep relationship beyond music with Fiji. And so that can also be, a real indication of that, she came with all pure intentions, to show respect, to pay homage and tribute, the legend, rest in peace, Fiji, F1J1, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that, there was any ill will towards that. And I think that, in these times where, like I said, people are grieving, let's come together. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, in today's time of YouTube and everybody wanting to go viral, we're creating a lot of separation, and we're becoming okay with normalizing separation and, rage and just kind of like, anger and just rage baiting and anger. And I don't think that we should just continue that energy or that narrative. And I think at the end of the day, we need to really embrace each other, And, shout out to TENELLE. My overall 2 cents on this one is, man, I feel like we need to allow each other grace, and we need to be able to learn from each other, And I do see that, TENELLE did put out, a post, that was really, pretty deep and, heartfelt, apologizing to anyone that may have, been offended, and that she has love and the utmost respect for the Tongan culture, and that she didn't mean to offend anybody in that sense. And I think that goes to show, that, as her music is definitely, a connection of our peoples, whether you're Samoan, Tongan, Hawaiian, Guam, whatever it might be, what I'm saying? Black, white, Hispanic, whatever, what I'm saying? I think that TENELLE's music really kind of brings us all together. A lot of the island reggae music, it definitely does that. And at the end of the day, let's take some time out to really just support each other. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a healthy debate and creating a conversation within the community. But at the end of the day, let's take some time to be graceful to each other and to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, we might find ourselves in conversations that we really don't even need to be in. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to say to all of y'all out there, the concrete jungle, that's what we're here for. We're here for community, connection, and culture. It's the concrete jungle. You already know what it is. Blah!
It's a celebration, ain't it?
The concrete jungle.